Hey, I'm Duke on Twitch. If you want to support the channel and greensunzenith.com, you can find my Patreon, merch store, and singles store where you can buy singles through TCG Player or Card Hoarder in the video description. If you want to get in contact, you can also find all that info in the description below for things like donation deck lists or just wanting to reach out. Alright, let's get right into it. Hey team, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with the donation deck list from Bob, and we are looking at Abzan Depths. This list is running some new cards that Bob and I, and I'm sure many of you, have wanted to try out in Legacy recently. One is Deeproot Wayfinder. It is 1 and a green for a 2/3. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player or battle, surveil 1, then you may return a land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So this card has been brought up a few times on Twitter. Obviously, it's a card that is pretty powerful in some formats. Is it powerful enough for Legacy? That's why we're here. The big disadvantage of Deeproot Wayfinder is that to get value off it, you do need to untap with it. Which in Legacy, untapping with a 2/3 creature is tough. There's Lightning Bolt, Swords to Plowshares. If you're on the draw, even if you have a Mox Diamond start, there's Prismatic Ending. And of course, there's also just combo decks not really caring about Deeproot Wayfinder. But if you are going to try it in a deck, why not play it in a deck with Mox Diamond, which not only allows you to play Deeproot Wayfinder on turn 1, it also sets it up straight away so that you definitely have a land to return on turn 2, which is really cool. So here we have a green creature, which is really nice. It pitches to cards like Endurance or Force of Vigor. And there are some other advantages that Bob actually mentioned in his email, which is really nice. Obviously, it draws out removal as well. It's not a clear part of the plan here. This is obviously a deck that's looking to either win through most likely Dark Depths, through Thespian Stage, apologies, or the one of Vampire Hexmage, which we'll get to, or a pretty clear plan, and fair plan, I should say, of just beating down with Reclaimers and Knight of the Reliquaries as they get larger and larger over time. We also have, obviously the synergies of Deeproot in this deck is quite good as well. On straight Maverick, you are a creature and a lands deck, but I would say a deck like this, which is closer to Naya Depths, is a lot more reliant on the lands to kind of win the game instead of kind of locking your opponent out with some sort of hate bear. So having that kind of matchup where Deeproot is a little bit more online in this list, I really like. And then of course, Surveil is also quite nice. It is card selection, which is great. So even if we see a card that we do like, we obviously have that to take into consideration as well. There are some reasons to not run Deeproot Wayfinder. Obviously, this card disadvantage, I guess, if we, pitch a land to Mox Diamond and then don't get anything back, it can just be a 1-for-1, which is probably more towards Mox Diamond being card disadvantage, but you can kind of see where I'm coming from, where it is taking a slot away from a card like Dark Confidant, which also has to untap to get its value. Not the greatest comparison there, but very similar. I would say Confidant, obviously a lot more powerful because you can draw the actual card and it could be a spell, whereas this is always a land and the land always comes in tapped. But it obviously is, I think, powerful enough in the right build, and potentially this is the sort of build you should be playing around to see how it goes. So we'll see how Deeproot goes. Otherwise, it's very close to Naya Depths, except without red, and of course Minsc and Boo, which is a huge card and a great reason to be running Naya Depths. This is running Vampire Hexmage as a one-of, and then also running a new card in these battles. So this battle is Invasion of Ikoria, and it costs 2 green and X to put it into play as a battle, similar to a enchantment, and when it enters the battlefield, you can search your library and or graveyard for a non-human creature card with mana value X or less and put it onto the battlefield. If you search your library this way, shuffle. And then with the battle, it comes in with, I believe, 6, I'm just going to say counters. And once those counters are removed, this becomes a legendary creature that has reach as an 8/8, which is pretty cool. So the little trick here is that just like with Hexmage, being able to remove counters with Dark Depths, make it a 20/20, you can, for 4 mana, play this, search for Hexmage, put it into play, and essentially get an 8/8 with reach for 4 mana, which is pretty good in terms of you know, how creatures compare these days. So of course you can use the Hexmage to remove these 6 counters from the battle to kind of trigger it and get it to transform. So that's really interesting. We also have Knight of Autumn here. I know Bob was mentioning how he doesn't like to keep track of day-night with Outland Liberator in paper. So Knight of Autumn still a fantastic card. Coming down as a body as well, and being able to do what you most likely want it to do in removing an artifact or enchantment is great in a Grist deck, because then you also have a creature to sacrifice to potentially take out another creature or planeswalker. So I actually really like Knight of Autumn in Grist decks. And then Ooze we have is just ongoing pressure for the graveyard. We obviously have Crop Rotation for Bojuka Bog, which is really nice. We have Endurances in the board, but Ooze as just ongoing graveyard hate is something that I've missed in Legacy. I feel like potentially with Maverick, at least I was a little bit too quick on moving it out of the deck for Endurance. They do, of course, have similar roles in Maverick of keeping the graveyard at bay and making sure your opponent can't really use it or access it as a resource. But the ongoing application of Ooze over the one-off time of Endurance is very different. You know, there's times where I wish I was, you know, had an extra life that I could play with, or, you know, Life in the Loam targeting 3 lands. Do you Endurance the 3 lands, or do you wait and then Endurance the Loam? Well, with Ooze, there might potentially be a world where you could actually just get all 4 cards. So Ooze, really happy to see it back. And then to the board, we have a pretty classic sideboard when it comes to green-white X lands. Tower of the Magistrate is fantastic against cards like Kaldra, to keep them from really timing you and putting you on a clock that you might not want to adhere to, and you might want to buy some time, and Tower is just probably the best way to do that. Blast Zone is really great at being a sweeper, especially against decks like Elves potentially, where we also have, of course, Plague Engineers. Blast Zone just really nice, especially in a deck with Thespian Stage. A little trick you can do is that Blast Zone, of course, comes in with a counter on it, but if you copy it with Thespian Stage and have a stage copy of Blast Zone, it'll have no counters on it, so you can take out things like Construct tokens. You can also do this with Hexmage by Hexmaging the Blast Zone to put it down to 0 counters, and then, of course, doing that. Torporob, just a great card overall. It is a card we can't really search for, but against decks like Death and Taxes, obviously Doomsday, any sort of ETB effect deck like Elves as well, it's quite strong. Deafening Silence, just a great card against combo decks, obviously ongoing as well. A little bit like Ooze versus Endurance is Deafening Silence versus something like Silence, I guess. We have Collector Oof, just a fantastic green hate bear. Probably one of the best, if not the best, hate bear, traditional hate bear, a 2/2 for 2 in Legacy. I think that's not too much of a hot take, actually. I think that's just where Collector Oof is at the moment. Guy's Blessing, a great card for Painter, and it can come in against other graveyard decks, but a little bit slow. Chokes, who doesn't love hating on blue decks? We have seen Hall of Gemstone, apologies, come into this slot as well, but I think Choke just does what it does so well. And at 3 mana, 2 and a green, it's very easy to cast. Endurance, do I really have to say? Force of Vigor, exactly the same. It's very hard for me these days in Legacy to play green without at least 2 Force of Vigor and at least 2 Endurance, either in the board or in the 75. So, really happy with these. And one thing I didn't mention was just the mana base. Very similar, again, to Depth, in sort of Naya colors, where instead of the Taigers, you have the Bayous. We still have the Flagstones, the Sejiri Steppes, the stages, the Wastelands. There's 3 Elves and 2 Elves for the Steppes and Flagstones. But overall, really keen to try this out and see how it goes. So Bob, a huge thank you. Congratulations on being the first tier 3 donation decklist guest, which is very cool. So I'll be getting a Green Sun Zenith bundle out to you. If you want to get a donation decklist on the channel, definitely check out the description below, and then also the support us page on Green Sun Zenith. But hey, that's it. That's my spiel. We'll see you in round 1. Hey team, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. We are on the play with a really nice hand. We have a turn 1 Reclaimer that can just become a 3/4 with thanks to crop rotation here. So pretty happy to keep this. I think just because we have access to 3 untap mana, I'm going to play the Mox, pitching the Step, play Windswept Heath, and then play the Crop. The Heath can go and fetch a Savannah. It could also fetch a Bayou if we really wanted to, because we could then try to turn on Hex Mage, but as it's a 1-elf, we're not going to get close to it too quickly, so pretty happy here to go Mox, pitch the Step, play the Windswept. I will fetch now just because our opponent could respond to the fetch potentially by dealing with the Reclaimer, and it would feel pretty bad not to have the Crop up, so would love to see a Bolt here on the Reclaimer. It's probably best case for us. Could even fetch for, sorry, crop rotate for Flagstones. Pluto Delta to me means combo, but here's the Volk, and okay, very close to a Bolt here. Now we have some real options. Well, that's pretty good. Honestly here, I don't want to throw a 3-drop into Daze, especially when we have open just the ability to sort of turn on Reclaimer here, especially with Flagstones as well. So I think I'm happy just to pass with crop rotation open. Even if they try to attack, we have crop rotation into Bojuka Bog before blocks. But I think here losing either of these to Daze, I would feel hard done by, especially when Knight is already a 4/4. That's fantastic for us. The Plains and the Mox are quite hard to beat for them as well, because the Mox can really only be answered by Brazen Burrow or Bounce, which in this matchup when you don't have a tight grip on our mana, Delver doesn't typically want to be doing. Fetch first makes me think of Ponder. Yeah, just to make sure that if they want to keep more than one of the cards, they can try to keep it there. No great attacks here. I don't even need to use the crop just yet. Unless I really wanted to be aggressive with Bojuka Bog. So one nice thing is that I could Reclaimer first for Flagstones and then crop for Flagstones. Because I get the trigger off the Flagstones, I don't really 2-for-1 myself with the crop. If they have a force, it's kind of a 1-for-2 instead of a 2-for-2, but I think right now I'm happy to turn this. Let's have a good think. Murktide isn't the worst because we have the Grist, but I also don't just want to get Murktided next turn. Say like an end step Brainstorm, Murktide's a 5/5, another, Bolt or something is a 6/6, so there's a few things to consider here. I think I'm happy just to go for Savannah. Opponent maybe thinking about like a Vapor Snag. Brazen Burrow is offline. Submerge isn't like a main deck card. Maybe they're thinking about Bojuka Bog if they want to do something now. Not too sure. Let's go for Flagstones. And then I don't mind holding the crop here. Not too sure what I want to get just yet. Okay. Don't want to attack here either. But the Grist with the Sorry, the dried apple with either the grist or the crop is very nice. I think at this point I'm happy to actually just use the Reclaimer right now. Because it's most likely also going to turn off this DRC from being bigger than a 3/3 this turn, which means the Dried Up is still on blocking potential. And I'm actually happy just to get another Flagstones here. Just keep building out my mana, and then I also have the Flagstones just in case I want to get Bojuka Bog here. Which was the plan, actually. I kind of just talked myself into Flagstones. Especially at 19 life. True Name is also another card they could be going for here. I'll let them search. Third Path. Okay. I actually don't mind at this stage seeing how the triggers resolve and if this becomes a 3/3. It will because instant. Yeah, I don't mind. So I can either crop for the other Sajiri step and give it pro, or try to just crop it away here. I actually don't mind that. Did I just click? I did. Apologies, I meant to obviously get Bojuka Bog, but that's fine. My mouse is just here we are. Okay. Well, now we do have just hold up 2 mana for Reclaimer, 2 mana for Depths, which isn't too bad. Let's have a quick look at the deck as well again. We have Grist, Hexmage Knight. Okay. I don't mind. Like, losing to a Brazen Borrower would be pretty tough. 3. We could also go down the route of just play Knight and then hold up Reclaimer for Bojuka Bog. I don't mind that. And I probably want to tap like this. Force pitch, minor misstep. They've been a Murktide, which makes me think they have another. Honestly, here if they attack with just the DRC, I'm happy to just bog. Yeah, so they obviously have a bolt here. I'm pretty happy just to sack the Flagstones and go and get a Bojuka Bog here to also turn up a Murktide. Okay. Still pretty happy to go for Depths here. Actually, sorry. Bojuka Bog. They have 2 cards left. Depths is interesting though. Like they attack for 3, for 5, put us down to 11. A Murktide is most likely an 8/8 and then just go wide, so I kind of feel like we have to go with Bog. This also gives us mana potentially for Grist, Tick Up, and also Green Suns for another Reclaimer. Okay. I also don't mind just getting a Knight here, which would allow us to have just another big body and also have a way to get Dark Depths at instant speed. I did forget about Scavenging Ooze as well, which is another path if we want to gain some life. Petty Theft. Alright. So they did have the Brazen Borrower. Next turn, if we keep the Knight around, we actually have access to, if we want 2 mana and Stage for Dark Depths, we're in a pretty good position with everything else. I assume here they just swing with everything, and then try to get us just with, like, going wide. I don't think they have the luxury of just waiting here. If we block here, we take 5, go down to 8. 3 in the air, takes us to 5. Best draw is probably just a Yavimaya, as it allows the Depths to be another mana, which would leave us in a position where we could leave just 1 mana open and the Stage, and then use 1, 2, 3, 4 for 3 and 1. But yeah, I feel like they have to crush him with everything. Yeah. Unholy he just turned off, which is nice. We're just going to block the biggest creature. Bolt me. Okay. Opponent really thinking about this top card. Ponder, okay. They don't have another land either, so Brazen Borrower isn't coming down this turn. Wasteland, okay. I probably also just want to make the 2020 now, just in case of Wasteland. Tough because we can only have Knight or the 2020 as a blocker, and this way 3 gets through, so another bolt does do it. Nice. I do feel like I'm overly patient at points. Maybe I should be making my opponent have the days. Maybe I should just be clear about, am I going to use Reclaimer as utility, or are we just going for the 2020? Like, thankfully there, patience did play off because they did have the Brazen Borrower, which would have got us the turn we wanted to make the 2020, but yeah, there's definitely considerations there to not go after that. So obviously, Blue-Red Delver is a pretty go-wide deck. Because they're playing the Iconist, I'm pretty happy to play the Plague Engineers. I also don't mind the 2 Endurances, of course. The Blast Zone is probably just better than Caracas. That's a pretty easy pull. The Sylvan Libraries, we just don't really have the luxury of using that well. The Knight of Autumn doesn't really have a role other than potentially Grafdigger's Cage, but they have Cage, they have Cage. We also have Blast Zone if we really need to get Cage off the board. So they're pretty easy. The Green Suns are nice, the Knights are nice. The Grist is just nice as removal. I could see a world where we go down on, like, I guess having an 8/8 reach is pretty sweet. So, like, I do want to see how this plays out. The crops are quite relevant because of Bojuka Bog just nullifying some of their threats. Is this a world where we want the Deeproot? Against the version that goes wide with these 1/1s, I don't mind it as just a 2/3 body. But I could see it going down. Yeah. What do we have here? We have a hand that just hasn't got the mana to cast what I have in hand, and that is a big sign of the hand being a mulligan. A little bit better. Here, we can probably just drop the battle. I do want the Dried Arbor, but I'm going to lead on the Windswept Heath, and then we'll have crop up if they try to hit the Dried Arbor, so I don't mind keeping this. And I think it's either the Invasion or the Knight. The Invasion's also kind of cool. It might actually just be the Knight. Currently it's a 3/3 with the Windswept, 4/4 with the crop. Like, Knight gets bogged, but we have the Endurance, so I think it's actually just this. And then we kind of have a Green Suns in a way with the Invasion. No Bauble. It's good for us. Green Suns. Yeah, this is fine. We didn't see Wasteland in game 1, even though there was a fair amount. Will they attack into this fetch land? That's the big question. Okay, that means they have a Bolt in hand, most likely, in my opinion. I think most Delver players know about Dried Arbor, that they're not willing to risk the trade, especially with no backup DRC this turn. Should have also fetched before I played Dried Arbor, but hopefully this is okay. Yeah, so see what they do with the DRC. Pitching a Daze makes me think they have a Daze in hand. Because they're going after a mana, it doesn't make sense to bottom a Daze unless they have one, which tends to make me feel like I can't go for Savannah here. I mean, if they have Wasteland, it's just it's very hard to come back. And we do have a lot to do with a green, so I don't mind just getting Forest here. And then if the crop resolves, we just get a fetch. Okay. It's quite nice for us because now a Elvish Reclaimer is a 3/4. They could also just be trying to get Murktide into play as early as possible, which I guess is also a consideration and makes sense. Unlicensed Hearse. Okay. Well, that means the endurance is a lot better here. They're also down to just 2 cards, so that's quite good for us. Deeproot. I don't mind going for planes here as well. Double green is a little bit necessary for the endurance, but being able to just have 2 mana that can't be interacted with is quite nice. I could also be in a position here where I just have to endurance them. I think that's where I'm going to go. Probably pitching the invasion here. Really want to turn off Murktide, and also turn off their ability to turn this into a 3/3, because being at 16 life is quite nice. It gives us some time to get something going. Prismatic Ending is always a card I think about when I see of cards like Unlicensed Hearse or Grafdigger's Cage in the 75 for some sort of Maverick or Maverick or Depths decks. Double Hearse isn't that great either. Like, the Grist here is nice, the Deepwood's nice as a 2/3. They're down to 1 card left in hand. Flagstones is a really nice draw. I actually don't mind just tapping out for the Knight here. Turning on the Grist is also pretty relevant. Does a bit for our mana as well, which is nice. Could turn on Grist, potentially. Grist is pretty cool as well as a tick up. Especially if they don't get to Delirium anytime soon. We can protect the Grist pretty well. Even from the Hearses, which I believe are Crew 2. Blaststone also deals with these, which is quite nice. Dealing with both of these with Blaststone's pretty awesome. Little 2-for-1, or I guess it depends how you I guess Knight is making it a... No, it's a... yeah... You sack a land to Knight, and then you get Blaststone, and then you sack the Blaststone, so I guess it is a 2-for-2. The issue with Hearse is that it doesn't deal with the Knight. It puts it in range of being easier to deal with cards like Lightning Bolt or Unholy Heat, but it doesn't remove it as a threat. It's still a 2/2 threat as a sort of a vanilla creature. So the Hearses are good, but I feel like they haven't had... Ponder's going to be great here, but I feel like they just haven't had the ability to kind of allow the Hearse to stop me from having threats in play and then keep damage going through. This DRC just hasn't been able to become a real threat just yet. They chose to not shuffle. Okay, so DRC will become a 3/3. And they find Bolt. All right. Could also crew. I think they crew. They should crew here and then attack for 4. Yeah. All right, 1 card left. I think like Natural Bog here would be very good. Yav would have been sweet last turn because then you could sack the flagstones. But again, Deeproot here doesn't do a whole lot. Obviously with the hearses in play, but... Take 4 here. We do get to Surveil. And it's all 1 part, so I don't believe our opponent has a ability to... Yeah. So I think we try to attack here to get rid of this DRC. It's going to take a quick snip. Just for science. Now it triggers. But it comes in tap, doesn't it? It's actually pretty good. I think we're going to keep that for... If we keep it for night... No, I don't think it's good enough. But then it actually makes... I think we have to graveyard it, and then potentially... just draw into a land to grist away the DRC. Both 4/4s. Potentially, because the double hearse, I don't mind bringing back maybe 1 Night of Autumn. It has at least got a little bit more to it than just being a destroy artifact, destroy enchantment type creature. It can be a 4/3, can gain some life if needed. But obviously 3 is pretty hard. Okay, well... How do we want to do this? Attack first. Maybe not, because I guess if this doesn't resolve, then we don't have a blocker, but if we're losing this anyway, it's a pretty tough position. Put it into the graveyard. I guess I could have gone for crop there, but it's all good. Comes in tapped. And then we do need the black source. Minor misstep. That will do it. Tough. Yeah, maybe attacking there isn't correct, but if I do use the flag and try to get back a land, they can of course just go after it. I don't mind the chokes on the play. And I think I'll move away from this plan and just have the Knight of Autumn in the deck. I don't mind that. Slow, but not too bad. We get to go Yav into Reclaimer and then have Swords up with the Windswept. Also, this plus crop rotation is the combo, which is pretty nice. Okay. That is going to be fine. Okay. Honestly, here, I think I'm happy just with... getting 2 Reclaimers on the board. Holding up the sword. Potentially sword on creature. Dazes them, and then we get to get the choke down under a daze. But I could see a world where we just hold up Reclaimer there as well. But getting down the Reclaimers from minor misstep is quite nice. I also don't mind here just now holding up. This is fine. Pretty happy just to swords this. I wonder if I just want to turn this Dark Depths into a Thespian stage and then untap with the Depths combo. That seems pretty strong. Luckily, if I really wanted to make these Reclaimers 3/4s, I can by either getting another Yavimaya. I can't get another Depths, but I can get another Yav with this Dark Depths. So Dark Depths goes into the bin, and then Yavimaya comes into play, then we get another one into the bin. This is fine. I kind of like the 1-2 punch of getting stage here, playing Depths, playing Choke around days. That's actually quite nice as well, because it turns these Reclaimers into 3/4s if needed. I will fetch first and just get a Scrubland. Play the Choke. daze it. That is fine. Maybe just get one Volk back. Yeah, I think that was just to get one Volk back. All right. Now we're in a great spot. And this is where choke on the play is really nice. Because you get to control the board, build out your threats, and then go after their mana once you've kind of settled with that. But yeah, like seeing my opponent ditch a True Name and a Murktide is just really nice. We obviously have a pretty nice way to deal with both the 2020 and the Plague Engineer, apologies, but yeah, really, really happy with that. I still think I do have a lot to learn when it comes to the Delver matchup and how to approach it, but I'm learning. That's all I can ask. See you for round 2. Hey team, welcome back to round 2. We are on the draw. The pretty sweet hand. We have Thraben Reclaimer into turn 2 Flagstones, Hold Up Reclaimer, Green Sun, Sylvan Library, a lot of things to do here, so pretty happy to keep this. Hexmage a little bit off from casting, but you never know. Basic. Okay, I haven't seen Basic Island in a long time, but here we are. So what can we do? Windsweep's also quite nice. I think here I just like, it's either going to be build out mana or go for Reclaimer. With the 1 mana, I don't mind building out. It just allows me to do a little bit more. I like that I went capture 1/1/1/1/1, and it was like, you've already got a copy of this. Island Go makes me kind of think this is going to be some sort of combo deck, which makes me want to move towards the library. Or even having Yavin to Green Suns turns on drawing into one piece of the combo and then crop rotation as well. I was kind of worried about minor misstep there. No end step brainstorm or anything. Volk. Okay. Oh. Okay. When Invasion of Thalia enters the battlefield, reveal any number of dragon cards from your hand. When you do, it deals X plus 2 damage to any other target, where X is the number of creatures revealed this way. What did they reveal? One sec. So it is just 2 damage. Okay, gotcha. Not too bad. It does mean that that dried up is going to be there for a little while. Ooh, okay. Deeproot's pretty sweet. I also kind of want to get this library on board. So I don't mind fetching here, just in case we draw into another fetch land to get this Reclaimer online as a 3/4 next turn. Getting probably a scrub land, gives me a black source as well for the Hexmage. Okay. It's funny that this goes here, like, it's kind of in an awkward spot. I don't know if we can move it? No. Wobble, alright. This is like a blue-red Delver deck with Invasion of Thalia. But they don't pay, that's pretty interesting. Plains. I don't mind trying to double spell here. Nice.
Force. All right. And they had the bolt. Delve is fine. Ooze is actually pretty legit here. They have one card left. Pretty happy to wait for upkeep to see if we can make this a 4/4. Nice. I guess we can... Yeah, just do it right now. There is a little... So we could wait here. We could wait, see if it flips or not. If it does flip, we get to see what it is. If it's like a bolt and they have Brainstorm in hand, then they can obviously do that before anything else. But I think here we're happy to see what they have first. Because if it doesn't flip and it's like a Murktide, I might just want to take cards out of here. Yeah. Happy with just that. Like, if they have a non-fetch, they can make Murktide a 5/5, but that's not the worst, because we have Hexmage to take the counters off if needed. No attack. If they have Bolt, they could have just bolted anyway, so I'm pretty happy just to Ooze here. This is sorcery speed. Yeah, we can eat a creature. And we get to untap here. Huge, with pretty much 5 mana. Alright. We can get aggressive as well. There's no way this Delve is not flipping. Which means I'm probably also happy to eat at the moment as well. Probably just one creature, play the Deeproot, and then take them off Force and Daze. Too good. Nice. Alright. Same sort of situation. What did we see? We did see that the battle, which was interesting. Library's still going out. The Caracas as well. We'll bring in the Endurances, of course. I don't think we want the Plagues here. I don't mind the Blast Zone. Night of Autumn, just because of, yeah, we'll keep it in. I think just because of the battles, and also most likely cards like Craftigger's Cage and potentially something else. I don't mind just having it in there. This is actually 60 as well. Guy's Blessing's always interesting, but is it good enough? Probably not. It does replace itself, but I also don't mind just knowing there's a choke in the deck. Probably just going to go back on one of these. I do like Hexmage though. I think this is, we'll just see how this goes. A little bit nonchalant on sideboarding here, but hopefully that's okay. I actually don't mind this hand because we have a turn 1 Endurance, but we do have a very close turn 1 Reclaimer as a 3/4. We actually do, thanks to Wasteland. Pretty happy to keep this. It's an island. Okay, Fetch Land still does it. Honestly, here, I think we just go with Flagstone's Pass. I don't want to throw the Moxes out to something like a... We can also just make them have the Bolt, but I don't want to really turn on Bolt. That's the only issue. So I think Flagstone's Pass is fine. I don't want to throw the Endurance into Daze. I don't want to throw the Green Suns just away. This also sets me up for a turn 2 Endurance around Daze, which is pretty cool. Okay, just a pass back's pretty good for us. I don't think so. Do we? Just one of those hands, eh? So if we Mox, we don't have a land drop either. But having like a 4/4 Knight is pretty strong. We're definitely casting one. I would just hate for my opponent to have brought in something like Meltdown. I'm happy to hold one here. Still no flip. They're going to fetch right now. Surely they know. They know, right? They attack into Endurance. That's interesting. I'm going to go after them, but I'm going to hold priority and get rid of this Volk. That way, if they want to bolt, they have to do it either before blocks, or they have to use the Misty and the fetch land. And if they bolt the Endurance here, then we're just not blocking, right? I'm still pretty happy to trade the Endurance for the Delver here and the Bolt and a fetch land. I think there's value in that. Yeah. Yield 2 for 1. And now we just have Green Suns into Reclaimer. Which is then Dark Depths into Hexmage, if this sticks. Nice. Alright, let's go. If we draw a land, because we have to have 2 mana and 2 mana. That was a quick fetch. Which makes me think of like Brazen Burrower. Invasion, okay. But do they have the Murktide? Just deals it to us, okay. Close. Honestly, here I don't mind. I don't want to give them this. I could obviously Hex Mage them. I think, honestly, we're just holding up the flagstones here. We're also at 17, so we have a bit of time here, which is pretty cool. Also, land off the top would allow us to hold up Reclaimer for the 2020, which is even better. So a land is a live threat. Obviously a spell is still great, but really nice to have. Take this. Oh, they hit this. Okay. The Murktide? No, another one. Ah, that's interesting. So you can actually use this. Ah. Tricky, tricky. All right. Tricky, tricky. One thing we don't have right now is Submerge online. So we're just going to get a Scrub land here and then get Dark Depths. Land. Nice. Nice. I actually think we just make the 2020 right now. Plays around Stifle, anything like that. Obviously around Wasteland as well. And we have open Sajiri Step. I guess there's a world where I should have kept up double Mox instead of the Scrub. But I think overall we're in a great position. This has to attack as well, so Ponder here most likely looking for a pre-combat answer to the Marit Lage. But it would have to be very good. What do we see? Chose to not shuffle. Okay. Being at 17 life, I feel no obligation to aggressively get Sajiri Step here. I could actually Swords and attack with both creatures. I don't mind that. Actually, no. Because I don't want Sajiri, I don't want Brazen Burrower to be a thing, so I actually should have, yeah, that was a misplay by me, of course. Yeah. Okay, they obviously didn't have anything on top, so very lucky there, but yeah, I think we played okay. A few instances where we could have done different things. Obviously, the multi-Mox hand is very cool to play around with, and the Endurance trading with the early Delver and Bolt before they really had any real threats going on was nice, but yeah, I think, I don't know, guys. I feel like just like, I'm a competitive player. I like to play tight, but I feel like in a lot of my games, I just give away little things that add up. And I love it. I actually love when you guys tell me, like, you know, hey, at this point in the game, especially with the timestamp, you could have done this instead and maybe, you know, taken off a turn or been a little bit safer or just gone for it and made your opponent have it. I do love that. So yeah, nice to be up 2-0. We'll see how this pans out. Thanks for watching. Hey team, welcome back. Welcome back. We have a 6 with a bog, but a great 6. So I'm going to keep this. Obviously, not having bog at instant speed could come up, but we'll see how that pans out. Scalding Tarn. Volcanic. Alright, it's going to be Delver. Three games in a row. Can we keep them from doing too much here? I think the Mox here is just going to be pitched to the... Or the Bayou is going to be pitched to the Mox. Another Reclaimer. Okay. So we actually have land, Mox, pitch, Bayou, fetch, play 1 Reclaimer, hold up crop, which would allow us to beat a bolt even through a counterspell on the crop, because you have to sack the land as a response. So in a pretty nice position here. Also, having the bog in our opener means next turn we could play it for turn, play another Reclaimer, and just have crop open again. Alright. So this is where, obviously, crop is just really nice. Because, like, if they counter it, that's probably more than fine. We're trading here. Yeah, dazes. Okay. I am A-okay with that. Like, maybe double bolt? But even then, like, that's more than fine. Okay. I think next turn I'm going to play a little bit conservative, just play the bog tapped and passed, and then next turn play the Reclaimer around days. I think just because it's my only threat at the moment, I'm happy to wait. They keep on top. Okay. Even a Wasteland is fine here for us. It's actually one less Wasteland for the Dark Depths. It leaves us with the mana for Reclaimer anyway to play around days. If anything, I'm happy they're not double, like, threatening here. Okay. Wow. I had the days. So 2 green. The fetch makes me think of Ponder. Bloodbraid Marauder. Another human, so it is an X1. Interesting. They're down to 0 cards though, so they have a 5-turn clock at the moment. They chose to shuffle as well, which is good for us. Also brainstorming now, which is interesting. Turn 4, they've dazed once. 1, 2, 3. Do they have like another land, potentially? No, because they have to put everything back except for 1. They wastelanded us. So, yeah. I wonder why. Chat, why would you be brainstorming here? Instead of, say, holding it up? Just for Bauble? But I guess, like, maybe Bauble gets you an extra card. They put a wasteland in the bin as well, so it's great for us. That does allow us to go Mox Pitch. Invasion for 1, which would be a Reclaimer. Bog's in the bin, unfortunately. Oh, that's pretty big. I think here it's just Swords 1. Do we attack this? That's the question. Like, is that better than 1, 2 flagstones for land and stage? What else do we have? I feel like it is. Yeah. Getting that 8/8 with reach would be sweet. And they have to attack with this, so we'll see how that ends up. Alright, we go to 6. Magtide. Ugh. And Wasteland. Yes. Tough. Alright, let's bring in double choke, double endurance, double engineer, blast zone. Let's take out the 2 libraries, the Caracas, 1, 1, 1. Probably the Night of Autumn. It's tough though. Yeah, no, I don't think Hexmage is where I want to be in this matchup. I think I'd rather just stick to like the non-black, and if I do find black, I want it to be really powerful, like Plague. I think I'm okay with that. I think if anything, obviously playing against blue-red a few times, maybe extra removal like Path to Exile or Prismatic Ending in the board would be cool, but I don't mind it either. Like, obviously having the 4 swords is pretty crucial, but we do have the Grist if we really need it. But yeah, again, maybe in that game I was just playing around Daze too much in the early game. But it's tough when you only have 1 threat. You really want to make sure it comes down, and losing it to a Daze when you could potentially play around it is just a little bit tough. I don't mind this hand. Pretty happy to keep this. I think here as well, I'm happy just to go for basics early on. But it's tough. Like, what if we go Savannah, Reclaimer? No, I don't mind. I think if we lost this game, it would be to them going after our mana early on. Wow, 2-1 Ponder. I think that's probably what I'm most happy to see in this sort of instance. And I probably don't mind just keeping... they chose to not shuffle. Unless they found Submerge, I'm pretty happy just to hold up the Reclaimer here. But getting multiple threats on board is also quite nice. But it would suck if they like Daze and then Bolt. It also makes them have to have Daze Bolt, but like, what did they keep if it wasn't Daze Bolt? That's the question. Yeah, this is actually really tough because the Dried Upper makes it a little bit awkward as well. Like, if I'm turning this Plains into a Flagstones, then I'm kind of committing the next 2 turns to Reclaimer. So I think I'm actually just going to have them have to have the Daze and the Bolt. Which means we did miss out on 1 damage, but we learn. Yeah. Obviously should have done this thinking before attack step. Wow, they're going to force it. Okay. Bauble probably means no... They're just going to Murktide? Order. Okay. Okay. I think here we are probably just getting Bajuka Bog them, and then make Reclaimer a 3/4. If it gets Wasteland, then we have Sword up as well. Yeah. A Braid. Okay. I don't mind swordsing this. Don't really want to trade this for the creature and the bolt. I like having the Reclaimer online at the moment. Okay. Hearse, they get to exile them. Okay. No Bolt, pretty good for us. We'd have Green Suns for Night next turn as well if we really want to. Meltdown's fine. I think now we just switch up to 2020. Make this a forest. Nice. Huh. It's pretty good as well. Maybe I shouldn't have attack there. Instant land sorcery. No, I don't think there's a way that they can actually block that well, so I'm okay with that. Alright. Pretty happy to... I don't have to play around Wasteland because I can just go and fetch a Wasteland anyway. They haven't really been selecting what they draw either, so there's a low chance that they have Borrower, so I don't mind just going for it. Okay. They can crew this now, though. I should have thought about that. Yeah, that's a big misplay. I thought that at least if they try to, like, unlicense us, then it doesn't work. Yeah, it's pretty stupid. Yeah. Maybe the better plan was actually just going for Night of Autumn, take out the Hearse, and then use what we have in play. Hearse really strong. Don't know if we have an out here. Have we used... We haven't used the... Should just, yeah, use the hearse. Alright. I think I actually need to not cast the Endurance here and try to get one of these creatures. That's probably the only way to get back into this. If they know about it at sorcery speed, then it's probably not doing a whole lot. But now, probably in response to this brainstorm, I have to. Has to be a green source. It's probably just... like, Bayou might get me out of this. Probably doesn't matter, actually. But we'll go for Savannah. They have one card. They could also just crew this in response, which is probably correct. Tap this, crew the hearse. Yeah. Like, maybe swords on hearse buys me some time, but very tough. Go 6. Tough. There are definitely ways I could have played this differently as well. Yeah. I'll GG to that. Alright, we'll see you in the next one. Hey team, back for round 4. We're on the play, which is fantastic. And we have a turn 1 Sylvan Library, so very happy to keep this. Probably just ditching the Karakas. Savannah obviously quite nice, but could see a world where Savannah is relevant, but not too sure where our opponent is on either. Maybe it is the Savannah. As a just in case. The Turn 1 Library, thankfully, should get around any sort of removal before I get to untap with it. Even something like a Spirited Labyrinth we have the swords for. Ooh, Mox themselves. Saga? Maybe lands? Chalice on 1, okay. Interesting. Do I want the extra marks? I actually don't mind it. So here we get to go. Mox. pitch the flagstones. And then here I actually don't mind green sunning for a Wayfinder. Alright. I feel pretty good about this. Next turn we could also green suns for Night of Autumn, which is pretty sweet. One thing Bob also mentioned is that if you want, with Caracas, after you make Zilortha, you can Caracas the creature back to your hand to get Invasion of Ikoria back into your hand, to then kind of get it again, which is pretty crazy. Another Chalice Bitching Wasteland. And just a pass. No land. Interesting. Wanting the extra ability of the... Okay. To be fair as well, I could have kept the flagstones and this turn got an extra land drop with the Mox. So that was actually incorrect. I should have kept the Mox Diamond to be able to play 2 lands in a turn, or get 2 extra mana. What do I want to do here? The swords doesn't do a whole lot. Which is pretty funny actually, because I actually am at 4, and I don't need to be. There's no great attacks, because it'll be the creature will be a 4/4. Yeah, holding the Mox would have allowed me to go Green Suns for Night of Autumn and then Bojuka Bog them to take them off Loam as well. They're probably thinking about Collector Oof here in the main deck and considering doing something. They don't. Let's go for Night of Autumn. Take out Saga. To make a creature, and we pass. We could also Chalice for 0 thanks to Invasion, which is pretty cool. I don't mind that. It would actually suck if they had... I don't want to say it, but if I say it, they'll have it. Sejiri Step off like Crop Rotation. They can't Crop Rotate because of the Chalice, but like just a natural Sejiri Step would be pretty bonkers here. Pro green, attack for the 4. Oof. Could also put both in front. Like, what is the deep? I guess the deep is kind of cool. Yeah, I think this is fine. If we find an untapped source next turn, we're looking the goods. Okay. Okay. Put on top, put on top. This is pretty cool. So let's go Wasteland. I guess we get to get back something as well if we want to attack, but... I believe Hexmage is a vampire shaman. Ooh, we actually, in this instance, we get to, Hexmage the invasion, block, return invasion to our hand, recast it next turn, get back Hexmage, and then hit the Chalice. That is very cool. Is there a world where we're supposed to, though, just... I guess we get to block first anyway. Another land. Okay. This is pretty good. That gets back to Saga or Wasteland. Okay. We get to get back that anyway, so looking pretty good. Put on top, put on top. Play the bog. Bog them. Play oh no, 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 the Chalice! I even knew it! I even knew it! We're in a really good spot because even if they have to have another threat or a way to win this turn. Okay. Wow. Yeah, we lost this game and we should have won it. We should have just not been greedy with the hex. Yeah, that's us. All right. I was playing a little bit of fun there. So let's get back into this. What do we want? We want the endurances and the force of vigors and probably the collector oof. The tower seems pretty strong as well. The Caracas can come out. I don't mind the hex mage in one library. Knight of Autumn seems strong. The swords I can probably come down on. Battles are still cool. I still like the Moxen even though we're bringing in Collector Oop as well. Deeproot seems sweet. Screws is sweet. Everything just lines up really well. It's actually kind of hard to cut. Crop's fine. Hexmage is kind of cool as well because it kills or it resets sagas if needed. Could just be Deeproot because it's sorcery. Just have 2 in the deck. Maybe even just the 1 as a target for Green Suns. Turn 1 Deeproot. Alright. Don't mind if I do. Could have played the other Mox as well, but I think this is fine. Especially knowing they're probably bringing in Force of Vigor. But yeah, apologies. I had a little bit too much fun in that first game. I'm going to go back and just, yeah, be clear about our role. It's like turn 1 Seasoned or Palace Jailer. Turn 1 Khan. Yikes. Ooh. We need another black source. I think that's sadly just too slow. But I might just want it in the deck for later. Because I think here we want to get back the stage and then crop it away for a Wasteland. Well, now I am pretty happy I didn't use the other Mox, but this Khan could easily just take over the game as well. What do they name? Do they really care about the Scavenging Ooze? Maybe they just name Wasteland? I assume they just go with Wasteland. If we are getting it back this turn. They could even bridge pretty quickly. We do have green cards for Force of Vigor, which is nice, but still daunting. Huh. Didn't expect that. Maybe now they just want to get bridge or liquid metal coating. Okay. Sure. Do they change phase? Do they surely change phase here. There's no downside to not change phase. I think here we just go and get Yavimaya, as it allows us to cast the Endurance. This feels like a Chalice with the pay costs. Can you imagine just drawing like Mox Diamond here? Be so sick. Sorry, Force of Vigor to take out their Mox Diamonds. This is fine. Okay. I don't need the land, so I might as well just attack Khan here. Play this step and pass. The only world where I don't Endurance is most likely if they tick down Khan for Ensnaring Bridge and then play Urza's Saga for turn, and we get to Wasteland it before they get to tap it for mana. But even if they have like land into bridge, they still have 3 cards in hand, so that doesn't work either. I feel like Wayfinder's done a lot in this match, especially. Alright, tap for green. Okay. Hard one to navigate. Like now they might have the option to Wasteland us off the Yav. Reclaimer does nothing because of the Chalice. So our only real play is attack the Khan with a 3/4. I don't think what gets me out of this, and I don't think there's much. Chalice turns off swords. It has to start with a Force of Vigor. There's only 2 in the deck. Collector Oop does nothing, of course, because we need green mana for that. City, wow. Oof. Another Khan. Hmm. Tough. I should have taken the first game a little bit more seriously. That's it's definitely on me. Tough. May I get like one more draw for a Force of Vigor? Yeah. Tough. Yeah, nowhere near. Maybe no, because they have I assume they have lattice in the board. All right, we'll see you for the 5th and final game shortly. Hey team, we have natural Dark Depths and a turn 2 library. No white mana, but I'm okay with that. And I think it's just going to be like this. Turn 1 Yav, turn 2 Stage into library, and then turn 3 Dark Depths. Okay. Ponder doesn't always mean Delver, which is good. Okay. That's definitely promising. Wasteland's fine. But they let us untap? That doesn't make sense. Oof, okay. Put on top. I don't mind paying once here. Happy to take the 1. And then here we also just get to float 2. If I want to go for the 2020 here, I can. Oh. Okay. They could have hit it with Wasteland there, but they didn't, which is interesting. Happy to take the hit. One, two, three. Play Knight around days. I don't think we're going to be getting there with the 2020 when they have double Wasteland. Okay. Main deck dress down. Didn't expect that. I guess I didn't expect Stifle either, so a little bit of a different build of blue-red here. Dreadnought. Nice. That is just gonna be game. We can fetch for Dried Arbor, but yeah. Rough. Alright. We like the Blast Zone, the Forces. There's so much here that I like. But I obviously don't want to overboard. Caracas can come out. The Hex Mage and these just because of the Stifles, which are pretty tough. Deeproots are cool, Scavenging Ooze is fine. I probably want to get rid of the libraries as well. Again, just a little bit too good. It might just be one Deeproot here. It's a little bit slow against Delver, especially as a 2-3 as well. Being boltable is pretty huge. They played a Wasteland, so we couldn't just go for it straight away. I don't mind this. Especially if we go turn 1 Green Suns for Dried Arbor and they bolt it, we then have a turn 2 3/4 Reclaimer around days. Ten doesn't have removal, which is pretty big, but I think otherwise we're looking pretty okay. I mean, if they force this, that's huge, because we just have a second one anyway. Nice. Maybe they don't have removal or the mana for removal in a, like, effective way. Pretty happy to try that out. Probably just bogging them this turn as well, just to get that land drop. Takes them off a few things as well for Murktide. And then the Knight is also Blast Zone, which means we actually have removal, which is really nice. They could also like stifle that and then try to like Murktide the following turn. Like a Pyroclasm here would be pretty brutal. Guess Bolt into Dreadnought is also pretty bad. Pretty lucky there to get the swords. Because otherwise that Dreadnought's pretty hard. They chose to shuffle, which is nice for us. Pretty happy here just to get rid of one of this. I could also get rid of the Dryad Arbor. I don't mind that, just because it's open to a lot of removal. They might play like Pyroclasm as well. Stifle here is fine. Happy just to endurance now. And hopefully the beats get there. The Skoos can become a 3/3 next turn if we draw a green source. That's also open, which is nice. Yeah, I guess Blast Zone not the greatest because they do have access to the Wasteland. Having the swords as backup is really nice. I don't really want to use it on anything unless I have to use it on a Dreadnought, potentially. I don't mind trying to make it a 3/3. I could also go after something like the Brainstorm to make the ooze a little bit more of a aggressive creature. Make it harder for them to also get Delirium. Pretty happy just to attack with the Endurance and the Ooze here, holding up Reclaimer to get us another green source potentially. See if we can get rid of the Blast Zone here and get Step, which would also just put Petty Theft into the bin. But if they have Stifle, they have Stifle. Okay, that's a start. They actually have 0 cards. So here I'm happy just to fetch for a forest. We don't actually have a white source left. Play Deeproot. Okay. Very fortunate there. I felt like we were really getting delved for a bit, but luckily we were able to turn that one. Maybe Double Force is a little bit too aggressive on the draw. Maybe like just 1 is fine. And I don't mind a library on the draw. Not on the draw, no. Might just be a Plague. There could potentially be a TNN deck, but being able to hit something like Delver or DRC or Brazen Burrower, pretty happy with that. It's pretty nothing hand. 1 piece of the combo, Force, but no green cards, so pretty easy mull. This isn't too bad. Probably bottoming the Bayou here, and then we have Mox Flagstones pitch the Forest. Deeproot into turn 2 choke. Okay, that's also very good. We also had Wasteland into Saw, but I actually think, yeah, I think it is still. It's tough because the Dragon Rage Channeler is obviously tough, but to be able to like pull a Daze out of the hand and then land the choke would be pretty awesome. And I feel like if the Deeproot gets in and we actually get the Wasteland back as well, I'm pretty happy with any sort of outcome here. Sure. But I could definitely see merit to just turn on swords. Dreadnought in the bin either makes me think they just want to go hard with this DRC. They chose to shuffle, which is pretty big. If I draw just a land, then my my gut feeling is we just go for swords into choke the following turn. Okay. I actually like just slamming choke here, and then having knight and swords as backup is just really strong. But to be fair, they could just have land into like Brazen Borrower. I'm actually going to just shift here because I don't want them to be able to daze back this land to their hand if that is their only blue source at the moment. And next turn it means I can play the knight around daze anyway. And if they try, I should just, okay. Well, we went 3-2, and I know a lot of people talk about Delver there, but we played against Delver, what, 4 times? Which is pretty crazy. Overall thoughts on the deck is that, obviously, very early in where we are. I think, if anything, it's a little bit biased because we did play against Delver 4 times, but I think removal 5 to 6. So not Plague Engineer, not Endurance, like even maybe 1 Prismatic Ending in the sideboard, potentially 2, but I think just having that little bit of play would be good. The Guy's Blessing could be a personal preference for Bob's local metagame, but I think online we have a pretty good game against Painter that I don't necessarily think we need the Guy's Blessing, and so that's probably where I'd find 1 slot, and then it's probably just the second choke. I think 1 choke is more than fine. And then still having enough for combo, enough for the artifact in enchantment decks. I think that's fine. Deeproot. Honestly, it didn't feel bad, but it didn't feel overly powerful. I think that would be a lot different if the land came in untapped. That's pretty normal. That's like a 2-mana Ramanap if you do deal damage, which honestly, it's powerful, but I feel like that is legacy powerful. Like a legacy power level. So Deeproot, I would love to still test it. I'd love to still go along with this, and I think we will have a few more matches, especially with this list going forward, which is nice. The Invasion and Vampire Hexmage were cool. I didn't mind them. I think there's a lot to play with there, and I actually like it as just kind of the small package of having Hexmage and, of course, the Invasion. A lot of the time I was like, oh, what's the point if you can only, fetch for just 1/2 of the combo? But of course, you pretty much get for 4 mana an 8/8 reach, which is very good in this current metagame. So I definitely don't mind that either. Ooze was solid. I didn't mind the Ooze. There's no sort of land that I wish I had. I think 1 basic on each is great. The 4 Moxen are fantastic. You get to see them a lot. 3 Crop, 3 Knight, I still love as well. It makes sense to have a lot of 4-ofs as your tutors, but at the same time, this allows you to have more lands to actually find, or more little things like maybe the Knight of Autumn or the Skoos in the main deck, which is pretty sweet. But overall, I was pretty happy with it. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to know. A big thank you to Bob for version 1.0. I think he did pretty well. I think if anything, it was me just slipping up that really caused some of those losses, especially that game 1 against the Mono-White Saga deck. That was just a little bit loose by us, but we'll come back. Hope you guys like this. If you did, consider following the channel or supporting me further, which you can find details about in the video description below. I've been Dukes on Twitch. A big thank you for hanging out. Hope you guys are having a great week, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.